Parshas Behar, Lamed Gimel Baomer. Shnas Tovshin Hayin Vov, Shimon Tiferes Avigdor. Today, a little schus for ourselves, and the schus, great Tana Reb Shimon bar Yochai. We're going to learn a Gemara in Shabbos, Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Beis, in this. It says like this. The Gemara says there was a fellow named Reb Yehuda, and Reb Yehuda was Reb Yehuda ben Gerim. He was the son of Gerim. His father was a Ger, his mother was a Geirus, and he was a Talmud of Reb Shimon ben Yochai. Now in the Gemara, this Reb Yehuda is introduced with the terminology of Rosh Hamidabrim Bechol Mokai. He was the first of the speakers in every place. There was a chashuva zach. Guess they had a kiddush, had a simcha. Any kind, there was an issue to speak about. Rabbi Yehuda, what do you say? He was the Rosh Hamidabrim. It was a chashuva position. So the Gemara says, "Amai koru leRosh Hamidabrim b'kol mokum." Why did they call him the Rosh of the speakers in every place? The Gemara says, the Yosfi Reb Yehuda, Reb Yosi, Reb Shimon. It once happened that Reb Yehuda, Reb Yosi, and Reb Shimon bar Yochai were sitting together, and the Yosef Yehuda ben Gerim Gabai, and Yehuda ben Gerim was sitting next to him. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Yehuda ben Gerim is not Reb Yehuda, who was the Rosh Hamidabrim. There was Reb Yehuda, who was the Rosh Hamidabrim, and then there was Yehuda ben Gerim, who was a Chacham. They said he was a Chacham, and he was a Talmud of Reb Shimon. They were sitting, Reb Yehuda and Reb Yosi and Reb Shimon bar Yochai, and Yehuda ben Gerim was sitting next to him. Pasach Reb Yehuda Baomer. Reb Yehuda began a discussion, and he said, "Kama noeh ma'aseyim shel umazu." He was giving a praise of the Romans who ruled the Eretz Yisroel at that time. And the Maisa, he was saying, as opposed to the Palestinians, and as opposed to Hamas, who rules in Gaza, and instead of building up the place, infrastructure, they took any infrastructure, Eretz Yisrael left them over, the Israelis left them over, they destroyed it ad chorba. They will machriv it. They do nothing to the place. Their sewers are mamish garbage. Their water is garbage. Their electric is garbage. They spend all their money on building tunnels. And they use all their money for themselves. L'maisa, the Romans came and ruled Eretz Yisrael, and instead of draining it, he said, look how nice this nation is. Tiknu shvakim. Throughout the land, they established marketplaces. Nope. That means they made a development called urban planning development. Made urban development. It's a major thing to set up cities in such a way that marketplaces are conveniently situated throughout the world, throughout the country, throughout the places. It's a very good big time. Another thing that tiknu gesharim, communications. They made bridges over waterways to allow people from one side to get to the other side. Tiknu merchatzoyis, and they established merchatzoyis. So he's saying, in spite of whatever negativity, the Ma'aseh is something positive. They just didn't destroy Eretz Yisroel and run it into the ground. So when he said that, his Chaverim, Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, Rabbi Yossi was Shosak. He didn't respond. I'll pass on this one. Look, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, what's the two of them? What do you have to say? Then Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, Baomer, and he said, Sikolish, don't think that they have the interest of the citizenry in Eretz Yisroel in mind. Kol mashe tiknu loy tiknu elo l'tzoyrech atzmim. Whatever they were misaking for their own needs. Tiknu shvakim, the whole purpose of their marketplaces is lahoishiv bohen zoynes. They wanted to have zoynes available for them throughout the country. So they created urban planning and urban development, because out in the boonies, there's no market for zoynes. So you have to get a marketplace, and then they have where to go for their R&R. They tiknu shvakim zoynes. Merchatzoyis la'adein bohen atzma. They made bathhouses not to provide for clean Jews. They didn't want to have the citizenry to have where to keep the hygiene up. It was done for them to beautify and fapiechke, spoil their own bodies. They wanted to have spots. Geshurim, you know why they made bridges? Not to encourage commerce. Lito behem meches. In order to collect the tolls from people who own bridges. Right? So it's not only the Brooklyn Bridge you charge money, you just wash the bridge. It's right out the Romans already thought of this state, sir. Holach Yehuda, which next time you go on the bridge, the kid asks you, Dad, why does it cost $14 if you got 2 axles? $16 for 2 axles. The same. The Gemara says, Lidol mehemeches. That's the reason. So Yehuda ben Gerim was sitting there listening to this conversation. Holach Yehuda ben Gerim was Siper Devrei. He went and he sent over these words to some of his chaver. Some say, actually he told his parents, and he said what they had. Now he had no intention at all of informing on his Rebbe Reb Shimon bar Yochai. But he wanted to just say, let me bring out to you how Reb Shimon views the Romans. What's the Talmudic cook? Amachloikis Reb Yossi, Reb Yehuda, and Reb Shimon bar Yochai. But what happened is, the word got out. V'nishma'u l'malchus. It was heard. No, he didn't tell them. But v'nishma'u, that was never the intention. But word of that exchange eventually reached his malchus, and it was the fact that he sent it over to people that could have related, made it nishma, made it by itself, Lashon Hara. It's a very important thing. Once heard. The Gadol Hador expressed himself in a very, very strong manner against what became one of the biggest Jewish publishing houses, if not the biggest Jewish publishing house in the world. And what they saw as being a wonderful venture, he saw it not like that, and he spoke very strongly. And when I was talking to somebody about it, I said, this is not something you should repeat. Because if it's going to be nishma to the average person in the street, he's never going to be makabelit, because he doesn't accept das Torah. He only accepts das Torah, behemish das, and therefore it's going to cause lashon hara, it causes negativity. So over here, he went and he got to the authorities, unintentional. Amru, the Romans then said as follows. They called a meeting, a parliament meeting. What's Tutman over here? Yehuda, who was the one who elevated the stature of the Romans, he spoke positive about the Goyim. Yis'ala, he's also going to be elevated. One of the ways they elevated him is by them making him the Rosh Hashanah. They said, this man is confirmed, he's licensed by the government, he should be the first to speak at any occasion where he is present. He is the opener of the session. And Yosi Sheshosak remained silent. Yigla Tzipori, they're going to exile him. He should be exiled to the town of Tzipori. It was in the Galil, up north in Eretz Yisroel. And Shimon ben Yochai, who spoke bad about the Romans, Yeharei, shall be executed. That was real communist, North Korean type of government. If they kill somebody, Yeharei, yeah, it's they do too. He learned it from the Romans. So the Gemara says when he heard about this, Ozal hu uberei, him and his son fled. Where did they fled to? Toshu Beit Midrash. They went to hide in a base medrash. Obviously not the one on the corner, this usual one, found the place. Kol Yoima, every day, Avimaisu hu Devesu, his wife would bring him Rifta, the Kuza Demaya, Karchi, they would bring him a bread, a small pitcher of water, and Karchi, they would eat that before their meal. Interesting. Why didn't you bring tuna for sandwiches? Not sure. Why didn't you bring a little chicken, a little schnitzel, or something like that? That had nothing to do with the massive. That Shimon Yochai and his son weren't in the habit of eating and drinking too much. So, Kitakif Gezerta, when the Gezerah became intensified, means, and they started to really hunt for these people, Amalei Lebrei, Shimon said to his son, Noshin Daitin Kalis. Women their minds are easily swayed. And I'm concerned, Dilma Mitzari law, maybe they will grab your mother, and they will torture her, and she's going to reveal the hiding place to them. So we're putting her in danger by staying here. So they decided they're going to find a more secure place. And now, they're not going to tell the mother where they were. Ozulu, it's like Peli, they were living on nothing. Well, at least they had a supply line. You never cut off your supply line, and here they are, going into this cave. Ozulu Toshu Bimarasa, they went and they hid themselves in a cave. There was no more delivery service. SHLITA, but a miracle happened. Curious to know, how long did the nest take? Was it the first day? Was it the second day? How many days did they have to go until this nest happened? Ibori lahu charuva, and a carob tree grew up for them. The Eino Demai, a spring of water, was created for them. Now they had their sustenance from. Now you have to realize, of all the trees, Hashem could have made a very fast-growing berry tree, bush. There are some trees that grow quickly. The charuv is a tree that takes 70 years to grow, to bear its first fruits. And over here, boom, that was a real miracle. Hashem wanted to obviously demonstrate that I have your back. You know, if you don't know the first part of the Gemara, so you think that's a pretty meager diet. But compared to what he had before, a pitcher of water and a little bread, so now they're moving up to fruits. They're moving up to spring water, Evian. So that's a different class already. Hashem is already delivering them. And every day it says they would shed their clothing. They would sit covered up in sand up to their necks. I've thought about this a number of times when I had the occasion to be by the seashore. Remember the last time I was in Yisroel, went to the seashore, son-in-law, and I started to put sand on my feet. And I was watching somebody else, they getting buried in sand. And I was thinking, could you imagine? I turned to my son-in-law and said to him, could you imagine to sit in this, not by the seashore, but in a cave for so many years? Kuli yoima, all day long, they would daven, and they wanted to preserve their clothing. They didn't want to rely on a nest. They wanted to use it as little as possible. So they sat there, Parshas, studying all day long in their necks. All day long they would learn together. But be'idon siluayu, when it came time for davening, lovshu mikasu umos, they would dress, cover themselves, and daven. The hodder, and then mishalche minayu, they would remove the garments from themselves. Kiechi the loy livlu, so they don't get worn out from prolonged use. And they dwell there like this. 12 years. This is like Mabel al-Arayim. They slept like that. Parshas, they function like that. First will ask, a lot of interesting halachic shilas arose. How did they make kiddush? How did they eat matzah? How did they have this? How did they have that? Kind of interesting shilas. And also Eliyahu, then one day, Eliyahu came, the Kama Pischa de Marosa, and he stood by the mouth of the cave. Omer, and he said, Man loide lebar Yochai de Mitz Kesar. Who will inform the son of Yochai that the king had died? Ubatel Kizirte, and that the Gzeira is batel. When they heard that, Nafku, they went out. Now the question is, over here, what's the question on this piece of Gemara? What do you think the question is? Oh, very good. Why didn't Eliyahu just tell them straight? Well, he had to stand by the cave and say, who's going to tell Eliyahu, tell straight, oh, not going to do it. You know what I mean? It says Eliyahu would learn with him. Eliyahu would come there and have interaction with him over those 13 years. The Parshas say he didn't want to be the cause of Bittul Torah. He wanted to make it sound like, let him hear it, Agav Orcha, and if they decide to leave, they'll leave. He don't want to be the one to bang on the table and get him to stop learning. Famous ma'ase with Chofetz Chaim. There was a gabbai in the shul that banged 5 minutes early once to daven Ma'ariv. And the Chofetz Chaim said, and a while later, years later, the guy died. And the Chofetz Chaim was heard to say, who knows how he's going to deal with those 5 minutes? How in the world is he going to emphasize for those 5 minutes? I was afraid. The Stipel had a famous ma'ase. But then the Sefer Shkafti, the Rebbe, the Stipel had a ma'ase that one day a guy came into him with a petek, with a note. Once the Stipel gave a bracha to David, the Stipel looks and he looks and he says, do you have a brother by this and this name? He did. He said, where is your brother? Where's your brother? So he said, brother's in Brog. He said, could you please go tell him to come here immediately? Call the brother. I'll find out who the man. Came to the Stipler. What can I do for the shoot? Took for the Stipler. So he said, did you used to learn on a Friday afternoon in a certain base medrash in Bnei Brak? He said, yes. At a minute I used to learn all Friday afternoon. The quiet base medrash. Was there a fellow there who used to clean the base medrash and used to disturb you? He said, yeah. He used to tell me every few minutes, you have to move here, you have to move there. He used to always hack me around because he wanted to clean the base medrash. He said, why are you asking? He said, yesterday he came to me in a chol. Yesterday, that fellow, the cleaner, came to me in the chol, and he said he's suffering geferlich because he was mevatel Torah from a Talmid Chacham every Friday afternoon. This was his job. He was hired to clean it up. The vice he was mevatel him more than he needed. And he came to the Stipel and he said to the Stipel, could you please arrange for it to be Mesukah? So I didn't know what to do about it. The next day, they told him the guy's name. Told him the name of the Talmid Chacham. The next day when his brother came, Michab, the name of the father, he said, do you have a brother with this name? He said, yeah. Hashem arranged it. He told him, go immediately to the kever of that fellow and give him a chil. Give him a chil of a peh immediately right now. Yeah. So the Navi didn't want to mess around with him. Didn't disturb him. Shimon, Yochai, the son over here. Just so I wonder who's going to be the one to notify him. Going to be, I'm the Batala here. No. So he came out, and Chazu Inchi, they saw some people, the Kakarvu Gazari. They were plowing the field and planting seeds. Amar, he got upset by this. Shimon Yochai said, Menichem L'chaya Olam Lo'izke B'chaya Yisha. They're forsaking Chaya Olam Haba, and they occupy themselves with this nourishkeit. So he says, Kol Makom Shenoisim, afterwards, wherever they put their eyes, Miyad Nisraf. They nuked. They had this microwave eyeballs, and whenever they put their eyes, Miyad Nisraf. Very serious. So Yotzes Abbas called Omerlem, a heavenly voice comes out and says, did you come out to destroy my world? Chizru lema'araschem. Go back into your cave. Hodor Ozul, so the two went back. Now what would we do? If that would happen to me, I would say, no, please, no. I'll do it again. Okay, I'll cut it out. I'll put on shmatas on my head. I won't get anything. I wear those blinders, what do they call those things, those things on your eyes. I would come and tell them. Chizru l'maraschem, turned around, other Ozul went back. Ace would trace a yarchim, it's like another 12 months. Pashit, Amri, at that point they said, Mishpat Rishoyim begehenim. Look at that, Mishpat Rishoyim begehenim Shneim Asar Chodesh. The worst Rishayim, regular Rishayim is 11 months. The serious ones are 12 months. Nope. So we had Gehenna for 12 months. Yotze Sabaskel, a voice rang out from Shemayim. Su'u mima'araschem. You're free, get out. First time Hashem didn't tell him to come out. This time Hashem said, Klor, Su'u mima'araschem. Enough good he came out. No. But the problem was, Kol heicha dahavi mochi Rebbe Lezer, wherever Rebbe Lezer's son had this power, still the new guys. No, so he would nuke it, and Reb Shimon ben Yochai, Masi Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon ben Yochai would heal it. Yeah, pretty good team here. The Batman team, Moshe made the Superman team. It was like, it's unbelievable. I don't know why they tell the son, keep your eyes closed. But he said, V'ni Amaloi. He told him, V'ni Daila Oila Manivat. The world has enough. It's good. We're enough. We'll carry the load for the world. Let's don't hold others responsible to our level. V'hagi Pani the Bali Shabbato. Again, came Friday night. Chaza who saw Reb Shimon and his son saw a certain old man. The Havinoket Trey Medoni Yosef was holding 2 bundles of Hadassah in his hand. He was running home with them, Bein Hashmoshes. So he said, Amrullah, he said, Hani, what do you have these things for? The Kvoid Shabbos. He said, no, what's the 2 bundles for? The Tizgelei B'chad. You had to have 2, 1. So he told them, Chad Keneged Zocher, Chad Keneged Shom. Amalei Lebrei, he said to his son, Chazi, Kama Chavivin Mitzvah Yisroel. Look how mitzvahs are dear to Klal Yisroel. Yosef Daitayu, who's Yosef Daitayu. They were peace. By the way, when they came out of the Ma'ora and they saw somebody plowing, planting, they looked him. You know who that fellow was? Yehuda ben Geir. That's who it was. Yehuda ben Geir, the fellow had spoken Lashon Hara on them. So, really the Gemara says he became a Gal Shal Atzomis. Tyson said no. He wasn't a Gal Shal Atzomis. He deserved to die for what he calls whatchamacallit, but they were Chashiv and mentioned. He was a Chashiv and mensch. So, he died of a, like Arsinon, that he was Nasa Gal Shal Atzomis. Now you don't see him pile of bones. That you see the Gemara says that Lashon on people who are Tzafim or Shoyim, and not on the Chacham. He made a mistake. He didn't intend it. Now the Gemara goes on and says, so Yosef Daitayu, they were appeased from that time on. They saw Yidden have positive Zachem, Yid's running, Tzvei Hadassim, Pekalach Hadassim. Shama Rabbi Pinchas ben Yoyer Chasanim. Shimon ben Yochai had a Chashiv son-in-law. The son-in-law was none other than the famous Rabbi Pinchas ben Yoyer. This was a family that a lot of Houdini tricks up their sleeve. You take the ocean, I'll take the river. You split rivers. They were flying over places. These people didn't play little leagues. These were the major plays. So Shimon Yochai heard that his father came out of the cave. He went to him, he greeted to see him. Ailei lebei bonei. And then when he met him, he said, "Come, let me get in the bathhouse." Having ka'orach lebisra, he was massaging his flesh. Chazi dahavi bakili begufa, and he saw the Pashut's cracks on Reb Shimon's skin. All his skin was cracked. Having kabachi, he saw these painful things that resulted in years of mamish, what you would call it, abrasions. She started to cry, and his cry, "Kanosru dimas eine," and the tears of his eyes dripped down and onto Reb Shimon. The kamitzavchel, and Reb Shimon cried out in pain. Yeah, because the soul from the womb, mamish aggravated. Unbelievable. No, Amar lo, Yisrael Pinchas B'yah said to his shver, Oy li shirei sicha b'kaf. Woe unto me for seeing you like this. Amar lo, Shimon answered him, Adra, Ashrech shirei sina b'kaf. She'el mole lo yirei sina b'kaf. Because if you had not seen me with such physical challenges, lo yimotzosa b'kaf. You would not have found within me the great secrets of Torah that now revealed to me. But I now know, as a result, you state in the Piyut, the Ma'arais, we said over the Ma'arais, that the weir of Yochai, Shimon, Yochai, Shtayt was in those Ma'arais Surim, in that tremendous chak, because of that. He told his son-in-law, you want to see my flesh, nice flesh. You know what I would do? My matzah would have been like I went in before and garnished. I was garnished. So the Gemara says, well, what's going to garnish? What was the mess? What was the shear? What was the medida of what he shtayt now opposed to before? What did he know now? He knew now more Kabbalah than before. What did he know? Don't the Gemara they made car before he went in. I said the Kabbalah wasn't present. Ki having kamakshi Reb Shimon Yochai kusha. When Reb Shimon Yochai would pose a kasha, his son, this giant, Reb Pinchas ben Yochai, Mefarik le tracer peruke, he would give him 12 possible terutzim for each kasha, each fair game. Can you imagine that? Hope the people had patience to share. The Seif at the end, he have a kamakshi Reb Pinchas ben Yochai kusha. When Reb Pinchas ben Yochai is the kusha, it says, have a Mefarik le Reb Shimon ben Yochai Esrin va'arba perukei. Reb Shimon Yochai was able to offer him now 24 terutzim. It doesn't say how many he was able to offer beforehand. Because it says this is how much Reb Shimon Yochai could offer him. But that was a shtickle. Ben Elio told me that's what he would have. So the Gemara goes, and what did Reb Shimon Yochai do after the spice? You know what he said? But he was the mikvah. He said, "Hoyel v'israchish l'nisa." Balda had a nest. Ezel, I'm going to go in Iskin Milsa. I'm going to do a tikkun for the benefit of the tzibur of the community. And he said, where did he learn that from? He said, I learned it from Yankiv Avinu. When Yankiv came Shalim, it says he was massacred something in the city, made tikkunim, different tikkunim, what it means, the Gemara says. So he decided, he always wanted to know what to do, and that's what he did. There was a lot of introductory lessons over here. The first lesson is, the main lesson is, that Reb Shimon ben Yochai's Maila was the fact that don't think that the Limud Torah was a walk in the park. You might think, listen, the guy used to eat water and bread, so this is no Gracie Shakes over here that now he's eating charuvim and spring water. No, it was a dechak she'ein kemoisei. But this dechak did not detract from his Torah or his tefillah and his avodah ki zeklal. As a matter of fact, he was so moiser nefesh to be loymin Torah b'teichat chak that this brought him to the highest and the highest levels. The Gemara says in SHLITA, Amar Reb Yehuda b'Reder Reb Chia, Kol Talmud Chacham ha'isik b'Torah b'teichat chak, tefilosoi is nishmas. The Gemara says, Rabban Baomer masbiin oisoi miziva SHLITA. Rav Acha bar Chanina Amar Lochazach Ein Hapargud Nimel Mipanav. There's no gate in Shemayim that's closed before him. It means everything. It's kol roz honestly. Everything is able to have what you want. To remember, a person who's loy mitayr b'tzar, he's noitel elef b'schar. That's it. It says if you take 1,000 for the schar, shaloi b'tzar, you get 200. The 200 ratio 2, that's how many times as much? 5 times much? Unbelievable. And Chazal say, who do you learn this out from? From the Shevet of Yisachar and the Shevet of Naphtali. Shevet of Naphtali, they were Isaac B'Teiru, lived in Mitzar, it says they would know Schar Elef. The Shevet of Yisachar, they pushed themselves to learn a tremendous Yigiyah, but it was Shalei Mitzar, they only got Messiah. Unbelievable. A person has to know that any time, the one thing we have to makabel, that the Shimon Yochai, when you think of his tremendous Mesirus, the Torah, and his steiging in his aliyah, the heights that he reached, to mevatel himself, he had to mevatel his own rotzen and any rotzen of his guf pasha. To reach a zamadreya to such heights, it's not something we can imagine. You have to know that the reason why he was able to pater kol olam kulim min adin, the reason why he was able to help Akaros, the reason why he was able to bring people at bracha v'atzlacha was because of this tremendous maila of loimet Torah mitoich chak. So that's something we have to do. Number one. Number two, if a person has a nes happen to him, you have to learn from Shimon Yochai. Second thing, I'm sorry, before we get to that. Second thing, let's say a person is Meiser Nefesh, and he's learning Torah Miteich Atchak. He should not look down and denigrate others who are not sacrificing. What he should do is, he should be appreciative to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he was Zeicha to be Loimet Torah Miteich Atchak. Certainly not to complain. And the final thing is that if a person has a nes happen to him, he should seek to do something, a tikkun, for the tzibur.